Oh, hey, sup? It's me, your favorite content creator. According to your boyfriend, girlfriend, and day friend. Sorry about the sunglasses. I was just coming back from vacation. I was in Cancun. I was in Mexico for a whole week. I was chilling. I was drinking. I had sunglasses on. It was a great time. I feel so relaxed and just better right now. Like, even doing this slightly, I think I had a little bit of stress, not too much stress, but just enough for me to go on vacation. Now I'm relaxed. We're back at it. We're going to make some new content. And I hope y'all had a good week. I wonder if I missed anything these last couple of weeks. I wonder if I missed any industry-wide news, because I was very, very unplugged from the internet this week. I'm going to just check real quick and see what went on. Okay? All right, bit's over. So yeah, what a week it has been the last week, and will probably continue to be for multiple weeks, because I don't see this problem going away anytime soon. Let's start off with Sony. So, Sony, remember when you guys did the whole thing with Helldivers? And it was a good thing. You had the game come out. It was on Steam, overwhelmingly positive. Probably the most acclaimed you guys have gotten consecutively in a long time. And then you went and just destroyed all that goodwill. Remember that? And then remember how, like, you walked it back. You walked back that always having to have the PSN signature thing happening. And then the reviews went right back to what they used to be. It was good. And we thought you learned your lesson. Come to find out that not only is the game still delisted in over 177 countries, but Ghost of Tsushima, the game that a lot of people have been waiting for to play, is also going to be unavailable due to the multiplayer needing the PSN requirement. Sony, maybe you aren't understanding this, but you are trying to get into the PC gaming space. Let me give you a little bit of just an example of what kind of dedicated fan base you're approaching. There was a war going over between the Epic Store and Steam, and not because of like anything serious. It was simply having another launcher. Okay? We don't like games that have launchers within launchers. One thing I personally hate is when I boot up a game via Steam and then I'm greeted with that game's personal splash page launcher. Then I have to click on that game's launcher in order to launch the game I had just launched. Now, in the grand scheme of things, is that really important? No. I still get to at least play the game. But now you're saying that people who won't even have access to the PlayStation Network because it's not available in their country can't play a game that they either already paid for, aka Helldivers 2, or a game they most likely pre-ordered or, really wanted to play, which is Ghost of Tsushima, all because you want, more MUA, which is multiple user accounts, for some sort of data? Here's some data. People are going to hate this shit, and they're going to review bomb the fuck out of Ghost of Tsushima. And I'm not saying that's something they should do. I'm telling you that's what's going to happen, because that happened to Helldivers, which was the game that everyone unanimously across the board loved. And you shit the bed. And now you're just rolling feces on it, Sony. What are you doing? Who is in charge of your management? I don't understand. Stop trying to force the PSN on people. They're playing it on PC. Just let them play on PC. You didn't have to force PSN, I believe, for God of War and for, Horizon and Spider-Man. I should know. I have Spider-Man on PC. And yet, here you are trying to do this now. It's not a good idea. Stop doing it. And to make matters worse for Sony, it looks like Square Enix has decided, let's do multi-platform instead. Apparently, after having some revenue drop, they realized that having your stuff locked to just one console in the long run doesn't make you a lot of money. So look forward to the eventual Final Fantasy 16 PC release, which was definitely always going to happen, happening a lot sooner. And with that, back to the video. Now, that was Sony. Sony, you're gonna fuck up your PC launching, just letting you know that, just right off the bat. But, there might be a way back for you from this. Just simply get rid of the PSN requirement, and you'll probably be golden. I cannot say the same for Xbox. Not only does Xbox know better than to do that, but they have lost the trust of, I think, all the gamers, right? Like, at this point, you're aware, right? If you aren't aware, I'll make you aware. I shall grant you awareness. You're welcome. Microsoft has decided to shut down basically some of their best studios. They've shut down Arcane, at least in the Austin division, and they shut down the Hi-Fi Rush company, the Evil Within company, Tango Gameworks, which to me is the most confusing part, because they have gone on record stating that they wanted smaller games, right, to focus on. They wanted smaller games to give them prestige and to give them acclaim, all that stuff. And then Hi-Fi Rush came out and blew everyone away. It beat, what's the other game one love to talk about? Forspoken, a game produced by a AAA company, okay? They are now a AAA company. They put out Hi-Fi Rush. Everyone loved Hi-Fi Rush, to the point where Hi-Fi Rush was winning awards, and also is the game they pushed to be on other platforms. It was their first game to go multi-platform, and most recently, because it's Xbox exclusive. And everyone's loving it. Like, no one's complaining about it. Everyone loves it. And they shut down that studio. Now, according to them, they're trying to shut down studios in order to, be healthy and light and agile, and every single bullshit word you can think of. But it doesn't make any sense. Shutting down Arcane makes slightly more sense only because of Redfall, but they gave you Prey, you guys. They gave you the Dishonored series. The least you could have done is let them get bought out by someone else, or just, move those guys to another place, absorb and do whatever, but to completely shut down the studio. And it's so much happening. But then you look at their revenue, then you look at the fact they acquired Activision, you look at the billions upon billions of dollars they make, and you start to really wonder, are they actually interested in making these games? Are they truly holding on to their tenet of, we want to make interesting games? The reason why they had Game Pass was, you can have a bunch of indie games be on their platform and showcase them, which was great. It's still a good product for consumers at the very least. But if you're a game developer, you made a bad game, you get canceled. Okay, that sucks, but the game wasn't well received. But then you make Hi-Fi Rush, a game that was well received, and you still get closed down. What is the incentive for working for Microsoft? What is the incentive for, truly being in the game industry, but specifically, what's the point then? It doesn't matter what you do, right? That's what Microsoft is showing you. It doesn't matter how much you make, how well you do, because there will never be enough to cover the corporate greed that they have. Simple as that. This is what it comes down to. I don't want anyone to tell you anything different. This is not about, they want to, make sure they're being more effective. They have gone on to say they want to focus on more high impact games. That is marketing talk. What is a high impact game? Impact in what sense? Impact in narrative, impact in gameplay. Were they going to support Animal Well, which is a fucking great game? I'll talk about that in a different video. But were they thinking of making newer games? No. They want to have perennial franchises that they can use annually. They want to focus on a couple of games, especially Bethesda. Bethesda came out with that specific statement talking about how they want to just focus on a couple of games, high impact games, right? What that basically means is like more Fallout, probably maybe a Doom here and there, Skyrim, but that's going to be the games. And that's also the mentality the industry as a whole is having. We're seeing longer and longer development cycles for these big AAA games because that's all they want to focus on now. The market for the AA games is not completely gone, but as far as investment goes, no one's really investing in those games. Those guys are going to be struggling for a while now to get more money coming up. That's just how it goes. You could have private small publishers, again, like Big Mode's doing for their first game, Animal Well, which is getting great reviews. But all in all, the larger companies are going to invest in bigger known IPs. And you're seeing that here with Xbox. Why buy up these studios? Why absorb them if you're not going to let them use their talent? If you're not going to make the games that they were making when you bought them in the first place? Why do you guys have such lofty expectations that these games are going to make billions of dollars when they were never even made with that in mind? Everyone wants to make these games that are live service games. Everyone now wants to make games that you play forever and they can nickel and dime you. EA, of course, wants to introduce ads into games, like actual ads into gaming. And at this point, I'm like, if you guys aren't just upset at capitalism and how it's ruining everything, like I've mentioned in a different video, which you should probably watch because it's pretty much evergreen at this point, the thing ruining gaming is not diversity, which is so stupid. It is not ESG, because you guys don't know what it is. It is not any of those things. It is quite simply corporate greed. It is capitalism. When you have video game companies considering how to make ads in games that they've already added microtransactions, in games in which they've already added, season passes, battle passes, they've already tried to nickel and dime you in every conceivable way, including subscriptions. They now want to add ads into games. The gaming industry has gotten so far away from what made it great that we are now having these conversations on a day-to-day basis. Massive amounts of people getting laid off. CEOs making money a hand over fist. You have these companies who are raking in record-breaking profits, and yet, look at where we're at. Games being released shoddily. Game developers are being forced to make, live service games when they really don't want to, aka arcane, and they're getting destroyed for it. But the people making those decisions aren't. Phil Spencer still has a job. Matt Booty still has a job. But the developers, they don't anymore. Maybe some of them might get picked up by other studios, but that's a crazy environment to create where you tell them to do something, they get all the consequences, you get all the reward. Xbox has lost my trust. And I'm not the person who puts faith in corporations to begin with, but going forward, I'm not going to be able to look at Xbox and say, yeah, that's a really cool thing. Because in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, it's a cool thing for now until they want to make more money, then this shit's getting cut. I don't expect to see any more like really cool indie games being released by any Microsoft studio at this point, because that really doesn't seem to be their focus. And again, this comes off the heels of them acquiring Activision for like $69 billion, effectively having the largest studios in the industry and still cutting costs by getting rid of people, by cutting jobs, all that stuff. All because they cannot rein in their greed. Going back to Sony real quick. Sony's being greedy too because they want to have multiple user accounts. That's why they're forcing the PSN. It can't be because they want to protect people's accounts, because we all know if you play video games, Sony has not the best track record when it comes to protecting their people's accounts. So all this comes back to metrics. So they can most likely sell your data or get more information on you so they can sell more shit to you or sell your shit to other people. All of this has gotten so far out of the realm of gaming that we're not talking about things from like an economical standpoint, from the company's growth. I've seen people defending both these companies talking about they have a right to make growth, and I'm like, I don't give a shit about their rights, dude. Like, what about our rights? What about the right to the consumer to be able to buy a game and play it without having to sign up for 800 services? What about the rights of a consumer to buy a game that's actually complete and not full of bugs and rushed out because, a couple of investors want to make their money back instead of, making a quality game? Like, what happened to that? That's why having studios like Larian or companies like Steam is so rare, because they're not beholden to these other people. They just want to make really good products, and they're making really good products and also coincidentally making a lot of money doing so. But until, the bigwigs understand that you can still make money if you make a quality product and not just try to make shoddy products and squeeze the life out of studios to make, your bottom dollar, this is going to keep happening. It's sad to see that so many studios are getting shut down for making great games simply because companies want to make $1.01 billion instead of just the billion they had.